Welcome, Vibe Tribe. Let's lift the consciousness of the planet and have a laugh while we're on the way. This is kind of a swirl with Lizzie Allen. And what we do here is just, I'm going to noodle with an idea and I'm going to share it with you, and I'm going to go into the magic of it, into the magic of the unscripted, into the magic of let's do this together. We are on a journey together. We are in unprecedented times. Without going on about what's going on out there, we focus on what's going on in here and collectively, so that we can raise the consciousness of this planet. I've got my beaver here at the show today, and I think he makes a nice addition to the party. So he's got some nice teeth, as have I. We won't go on about that. So perseverance. I pulled the perseverance card. This is a time for perseverance. This is absolutely a time to persevere with our spiritual practice and to align with our power so that we might rise above the noise, as Rumi put it, where we can meet and play in the field above all of the earthly, mundane stuff that's getting a bit hot and heavy under the collar. So I wanted to talk to you today about this idea of jump and the net will appear. And I heard the other day somebody say, I know and I trust the universe that when I jump, the net will appear. I just don't like the drop. And isn't that the truth? When we leave something behind because it no longer serves us, the idea of stepping into the unknown is just like, I don't think I can do this, because you have to go through a period of no man's land, proverbial no man's land, where you've got 1 foot in your old life, 1 foot in your new life, and you're kind of straddling that middle ground. So let's just look at this from my point of view a second ago. A year ago, I got divorced. What's this going on? Oh, by the way, when I make this, I'm not going to bother with all the editing and all of that stuff because I just simply don't have time. But it doesn't matter. You don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that. So I got divorced about a year ago. And it was incredibly challenging because I found myself homeless, without access to my business, without access to a vehicle, and it was very discombobulating. Now, it's not like I had a choice. That was the end of the relationship, and I wasn't going to be able to go back into it. But there was a lot of decisions that I had to make and movements that I had to make, which involved going into the unknown, which involved departing from something that was familiar and taking that leap of faith. And man, have I dropped and dropped. But during that time, I was caught so many times. I was caught by the people who love me. I was given somewhere to live by a friend. She graciously helped me out, and somebody else helped me move, and somebody else went, oh, anyway, I don't want to go on about it. I don't want to go on and on and on about it. But we're in a time where things are absolutely nutty on a world stage. So what we've got really is we've got this sort of patriarchal stranglehold worldwide of the feminine, right? And it's almost like we're going back into the dark ages, like we're trying to put women back in the box, right? Because the divine feminine energy, and if you're not woo-woo, it doesn't matter, but I think you can get down with this. Women are more intuitive, more connected to the moon and cycles and the moods and the sort of biorhythms of things, And why am I laughing? I'm awkward. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, it's a bit awkward, But this is a big subject, isn't it? The divine feminine, the stranglehold. You've only got to look at sort of some of these laws, some of these, the merging of religion with the government, and how that women have to get back into this sort of controlled box, because I think men are just really afraid. Now, when I say that, I'm not talking about all men and all women, because actually the divine feminine is within men as well, and the divine masculine is also present in people as well. So it's not really that, it's more that there's such a sort of last ditch attempt to suppress the feminine energy, but this is our time to explode into our power, because actually every single one of us has the power to be very, 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 very big and powerful energetically. But it's not everybody who knows that. Now, I know it. My beaver knows it, right? Do you know it? Do you know that you have the power to be who you are? And that involves really tapping into your divine feminine, whether you're a man or a woman. It's sort of divining. You know, there's this divination business that we can be guided by this amazing power to stand in our power and stand in our truth and own who we are. And sometimes that looks like, oh my God, I'm living in a situation, a marriage, a job, a career, whatever it is, and I'm not happy, and this isn't serving me, and I'm just going through the motions day in, day out. I go to work, I come home, I'm tired, you know, I don't really say what I mean, I don't, you know, and that involves a huge step of jumping into the unknown, right? That idea that you could be what you want to be and have what you want to have, and you know, live that life, that big, expansive, beautiful, abundant existence, that energetic, expansive life, to create in the ways that you want to create, and not be constantly worried in this kind of idea that we get boxed off, right? We're living in a number of matrices within the matrix. I know I'm going way off, but this is bear with me. We're noodling here. We're living in a load of matrices. There's the financial money matrix, right? That's a big game there. And then you've got the social media matrix, what you're on now, right? That's all a big sort of game there. And then you've got all these other matrices, and they all kind of belong in a bigger picture. And actually, the truth is they're like video games. This is a choice, right? We get to choose how we express ourselves and how we show up and what we do with our energy and how big we go with who we are. And the fear is, oh, you know, no, I can't. I'll get judged. I'll get ridiculed. I'll be exiled. You know it. But when you really look at the fear, like what is really holding you back, it's just thoughts in your own head about what may or may not happen. Now, it's always been my experience that when I decide, or when I recognise that something's not right for me, that something about my life isn't working, and it really isn't working, then I will make the change. I will go, I need to be free from this. I need to move out of this because this no longer serves me. This no longer has, it doesn't resonate with my soul and my soul's calling anymore. And every time I've jumped into the unknown, I have always been caught. And when I'm following something bigger, something more intuitive, like we were talking about, that divine, intuitive divination energy that we all access if we want, when we do that, it's always better than what was past, because the sort of, when you have an overkill of masculine energy, when masculine energy dominates your whole experience of reality, it's very daytime doing logical energy, which is fantastic, right? You get so much done in the physical reality, but if you're not balancing it out with the feminine energy, which is the divination, where do I go? Where do I feel? What's going on? You know, when you don't marry those two together, you get a very imbalanced sort of experience, and it's just kind of like what we've got is a massively imbalanced experience of the masculine energy here in in the great blue and green wonder that is this world. Haven't we just, like, what's all these bloody men going around fighting all the time? Like, why is everyone blowing things up? Like, didn't we learn at school that it was wrong to sort of hit your friend at school? Or so then you grow up and suddenly you're looking at your own government bombing other people and you're thinking, what? Hypocritical, right? It's like, you can go over, they basically say you're not allowed to murder anyone unless you want their oil. And it's just like, well, hang on a minute. And that sounds like a bit of a imbalanced, when the masculine energy is balanced with the divine energy, you've got yourselves a party, my friends. You've got yourselves a party. And I think right on. What do you think, Beaver? Yeah, Beaver says right on. So, in short, are you tapping in to your divination, your intuitive wisdom through practices that serve your spiritual development, which could be meditation, affirmative prayer? I always see affirmative prayer because prayer should never be begging, right? That's not how you use the law of mind and the law of creation. And remember, we're in a computer game. Don't forget that part. You say affirmatively, right? So you recognize you're one with the whole. This is the game. This is what you're in. Are you going to play your own game within the bigger game? Or are you going to be a character that just complains about the game and doesn't really play it, just sort of looks around and goes, oh, this game is so bad and terrible. It's like, well, play it differently then. Do something different. Like, add a little harmonics into the game, Get creative with it. Like, we are in a totally different realm, guys. We are not going back in the box. Like, this is going, if you just look at what's happening in the West without getting fear-mongering about it, or without going down with that ship, if you really look what's happening, we are seeing the Matrix go, oh, it's not what we thought, is it? We can't continue, right? So are you going to get creative with your game plan, jump, and the net will appear? So that's my message for today. If you are being called forward and you don't know how you're going to do it, what you're going to do it, but you know what it is, you can see it, you can see the desire. So the desire might be, I see myself on a patch of land and I've got my friends with me and we're laughing and we're sitting around, we're cooking good food and we have, there's just nature and everything like that. I don't know how I'm seeing this. Well, get on with it. That's my advice, guys. Get on with it. Time waits for no man. Time's a construct as well. But I think that's pretty good for today's chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love you. I love you. I love you. I'm out. Let's turn this off. Bye-bye.